All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Blitz5 and hope you guys are doing well. And it's been a while since I've recorded a video because I've been traveling on and off for the past 2 weeks. Just got home, streamed this morning, and in front of me, we have the patch notes for the next update, which is 17.1 and the launch of Season 17. So this is going to be a longer style video. And if you're not into this kind of stuff, well, hopefully I'll see you guys in a future video. And I also want to let people know that I had an awesome experience. I was able to visit and actually tour the PUBG office in Santa Monica while I was traveling around in California. So I definitely going to be making a video about that in the next week. I shared some pictures on social media at Blitz5 on Twitter and elsewhere if you guys haven't seen them. And my wife and I were able to go around. And like I said, it was just such an incredible experience being a fan of the game for so long and really just gaming in general, being able to go into the office and check it out. It was very unique and it was just a really cool time. So I'll have all that stuff later in the week. And then also on top of that, I'm very close to hitting 10,000 subscribers on YouTube as I'm recording this right now or posting this video. We're probably going to hit it. I'm only a few subscribers off. So I just want to say an early thank you to everybody that has supported my page for a very long time. If you're here for the first time, thank you guys for stopping by. I really appreciate it. YouTube is such I don't really know how to put it into words. It's my favorite platform of all time. I love YouTube. It gives so many people a voice and it also provides just such great content. I use it basically as TV and I have for a long time. And I've been using YouTube since it first came out. And I may not be the best YouTuber out there, but I love this platform so much and it means the world to me to continue to grow and post content on here and to hit 10,000. While it might not be a million, is a great milestone for me and I'm very excited to hit that. So I just wanted to say thank you to everybody and give a little extended spiel about that. But let's get into patch notes. This isn't a huge update, so it's actually not going to be a super long video. We have two main things to talk about here. We have old Sanhok coming back and we have a new weapon, which is the Ace 32. So first, we're going to talk about the schedule. So this is just the test server available on PC. Hopefully you guys understand the schedule now. Test server comes out 1 week later on Wednesday, April 13th. The PC will go live onto the live servers. And then 8 days later, basically a week later, it will go live on console. So we have test server, a week later, PC live. And then a week after that, we have console live. So for us console players out there, we have to wait all the way until Thursday, April 21st, which is always a bummer, but it just is the way it is with PUBG, unfortunately. And getting into the Sanhok talk, well, here it is. I was able to play today on PC, but man, is it a tough experience playing on the test server, running into allegedly Tickleton and some other players. Usually I'm running into streamers on there, and I'm a PC noob. I'm pretty bad with shooters with mouse and keyboard, so it's very hard to test it out, but we were able to do it a little bit, and it played pretty well. But there's a lot to talk about here with Sanhok coming back. So they talk about doing it. I mean, think about PUBG here. Well, first, I want to mention another thing that I made a great video, one of my better videos recently, talking about what went wrong with Sanhok, what went well, the positives, the pros and cons of Sanhok, what, some of the good changes, some of the bad changes, and why this is happening. So I'm going to try to skip over that in this video to keep it shorter. But PUBG talked about this, but imagine PUBG, they tried to remaster this map. In the past, when they remastered Erangel, they didn't want to change anything in Miramar. They kept it the same. Sanhok, they made a lot of changes and it didn't go over well. And I think it's hard to change iconic maps, original locations, because people kind of get stuck on them. And then on top of changing some of the locations, which didn't seem to go well, the color scheme had changed, the brightness had changed, very hard to see people on Sanhok, the whole color palette changed. So there's just a lot going on with it. So, and think about it on PUBG side, I think I was starting to say this, that they put so much work into this and then have to go back to the drawing board. It's got to be frustrating. And it seems like they're leaving it kind of open right now, that this might not be permanent. They don't know how they're going to evolve the map. What do they do? The loot truck is gone. Do they bring the loot truck back? And they talk about this in the update and also in some posts online, where it seems like they're not really sure where this map is going to go right now and how they're going to treat it going forward. But we'll definitely see what happens, and only time will tell. It's hard to say, do we like the new Sanhok after just a few hours playing? This is one of those things where I think after season 17, we'll be able to look back and go, was old Sanhok actually better, or was it just a memory of ours, or whatnot? And this is interesting because you have a lot of free-to-play players who maybe have never played old Sanhok. And for us console players out there, we've never played old Sanhok at 60 frames per second. Back when old Sanhok was out, consoles were still struggling and under 30 frames. So it's definitely going to be interesting to be testing this out for sure. And there's a lot of locations like the old quarry that I used to like to drop at, I stopped, that I'll definitely be returning to. And right now, when I was landing there, everybody was going boot camp and lobster. Everyone's really excited for the return of lobster, which totally makes sense. And it was just a really hot area for sure. And what's also interesting with it reverting back to the old Sanhok, there's no loot truck, which makes sense, but they're also taking away the jammer pack and the decoy grenade, which debuted when they remastered Sanhok. So I'm not sure why they got rid of those. I guess they're just trying to keep it like the old experience, but they also did include some of the new items like the Panzerfaust, the MK12, smoke grenade, tactical gear, and the mountain bike. So I'm not sure why they didn't include the jammer bag and stuff like that. I wish they would sometimes comment on that a little bit more, but that was PUBG's interesting decision there. And yeah, definitely want to hear what you guys think about old Sanhok. I mean, again, if you're on console, it's going to be a while till you can play it, but definitely interested to hear people's opinion. Personally, I'm just surprised that they actually did this, and I hope that they can kind of build on this a little bit to make it better. Like I thought the airfield was a really good addition and stuff like that, but we'll just see what PUBG does. And just from quickly playing it, it seemed like it played well. I missed the old visuals. It was easier to spot people, and that part I liked. It was really bright, and it reminded me of kind of being in a very beachy area, which I always thought Sanhok to be that way. Then up next we have the Ace 32, which is going to be the new weapon on the battlegrounds. This is a 7.62 weapon, sort of. I think this is like in the Galil family of weapons, which I always said would be great in PUBG, but I'm actually not familiar with this weapon. So some of the people that are interested in guns and weapons out there might know this one. This is the Ace 32. And again, I read that this is an Israeli weapon that came out of the Ace 23. That was just from a quick Google search. And this is going to be in between the AKM and the barrel. And it also takes all of the attachment slots. So a lot of news came out that this is just going to be like a lost gun, kind of like the K2. No one's going to pick it up. But it's right underneath the barrel in terms of damage output. And again, it has more attachment slots, so it should be easier to control. And it kind of makes sense. It can't, obviously every gun has to have its own spot, and the barrel and these kind of weapons will always kind of be the strongest because that's what they're meant to be like, right? So I think it's fine implementing this kind of stuff in the game. They said that there's a lot of 5.56 weapons, so they wanted to add a new 7.62 weapon. But what I'm confused about this is how they're implementing it, because this is going to be on every single map. And right now, if you think about it, every single map has three 5.56 ARs, and three 7.62 ARs. So for the 5.56, we have the M16 is pretty much on every map. We have the M4, and then there's always the substitute SCAR. So you have a SCAR, or I should say SCAR or substitute. So either the SCAR, G36C, or the QBZ. So again, let's just take Sanhok. You have the M16, you have the M4, and you have the QBZ. And then in terms of 7.62, you have the Mutant, which is the 7.62 burst shot weapon like the M16. Then you always have the AKM and the barrel. And then adding this in as a world spawn on every map is just adding an additional 7.62 gun. So I'm not sure where that balance went. If anything, it would make sense for this gun to replace the barrel or the AKM and just keep it where it's 3-3 on both sides, right? Unless I'm missing something here. I was kind of thinking about this and I was looking at all the weapons in the game and I was a little confused on how they were implementing this going forward, but I guess we'll see. And again, here's some of the stats. Go into detail for the nitty gritty. CDome, who is a great PUBG partner and PUBG content creator, already kind of put out an Excel sheet comparing these guns. You can find him on YouTube and also on Twitter if you're not following him, kind of analyzing the details, because it's one damage under the barrel, but then once you get into muzzle velocity, rate of fire, time to kill, and all that stuff, it gets pretty interesting on what weapons work best. And then you also have to consider accuracy. For example, Groza has a faster time to kill than the AUG, but a lot of pro players like to take the AUG because it's easier to control, right? More guaranteed shots that are going to land. So it's always kind of so many things to debate and little details and nuances. On top of this, we have the ranked season 17 starting, and just season 17 in general, which, you know, I know ranked is struggling in some platforms in some regions, and console tried out FPP ranked, and now I heard that's struggling a little bit as well. And with ranked, we're also going to see the new weapon, mountain bikes, smoke grenades, and the P90. So really the biggest thing here is that the P90 and the smoke grenade are going to be in ranked, because the new weapon will be fine, right? Mountain bike, nobody cares about, but the smoke grenade is such a huge change to the meta, being able to put that smoke grenade down, and it kind of does a double smoke grenade if you do it right. So that's going to be a huge change for ranked and in the comp scene if they include that as well. And then we have a change to the tactical gear. So the Tac Pack came out, was very strong. They already nerfed the ability for you to have weapons preloaded in your Tac Pack. So the first nerf came when you take the weapon out, you have to reload it again, which I thought was kind of enough for right now, personally, at least on console. And now they took it one step further. And now the new Tac Pack can no longer store the other gear, which kind of makes sense. But after the gun nerf, now I feel like this is a pretty big double nerf to this item. But it was weird that if it can hold the tac gear, there's basically no point in not having the tactical pack, right? Because if you're going to hold a drone, why not have a tactical gear that holds a drone, right? Or if you're going to have an EMT, why not pick up the tactical gear first and then hold the EMT in that bag? So it was kind of a weird loophole that I think they needed to fix. But now with the weapons and this, it almost seems like, is there a point to holding this? I think there still is, but we'll see. All I know is that I see a lot of Tac Packs on the map not being utilized. But again, I think this is something that's better on PC than it is on console. And if you guys want to share your opinion about that, I would love to read it down below. And then for the map rotations, we're seeing Karkin go. It's leaving. And we're going to have Erangel, Miramar, Tego, Haven, and Sanhok, which I'm very excited with that map rotation. And then on ranked, it's Erangel, Miramar, and Tego, all large maps in the rotation that are staying. And then we have some changes to the battlegrounds here. They're adding billboards that display the latest news, which I think is pretty cool. And 5th anniversary stuff is being removed. It has come and gone. Then training mode, they're just adding some of the new items. Team Deathmatch, having the new gun, they have to make changes to Team Deathmatch. Also with Sanhok, anything that involves Sanhok is going to be temporarily suspended, right, until they get all that stuff figured out. So anything involving the new gun, updated. Anything with Sanhok, like a TDM match, obviously will be affected with this change. And same thing with custom games. Obviously, Sanhok is going to be a little wonky with that. That's fine. We understand that. And then here we have when you're in the preview screen for a gun, they've changed the way that you can spectate the weapon on console. You just click the right thumbstick down, which is R3, to preview it. And that's pretty much the update. But we do have a couple important bug fixes that I do want to talk about. So this was a bug, which I wasn't sure if it was a change at first or a bug, but it was. You weren't able to deploy your parachute early. Now that's been fixed. That was kind of annoying. You had to wait until you were very low to deploy your parachute, so you couldn't kind of float around in the air. And then also we have the occasional issue of vehicle spawning buried in the ground. I mean, this has happened in PUBG forever, so I can't imagine this is completely gone. Sometimes vehicles are like half in the ground or all the way in the ground, but allegedly that's been fixed. And there was another one that I wanted to point out. Oh, this is the issue of players dying instantly before getting down but not out in certain location. There was another one where I feel like when you, here we go. Now, where is it? There was one where when you are falling down but not out, you would just be like crouched when you were falling. They added an animation to that finally. But those are kind of the big bug fixes. We were looking for the parachute one, which is huge. I don't know if they have finally fixed the missing audio bug, which has been happening a lot on console on some of the vehicles, or if that was in a previous patch. I feel like people have still been talking about that. And then obviously getting some of these other ones out of the way is important as well. And then some UI and UX fixes. So again, not a huge update here with this. Is basically a new weapon, and then they're putting in the old version of Sanhok, but you know that they must be working on some things with Sanhok behind the scenes. And then they're also still working to finish Kiki, which is exciting. And then obviously new Survivor Pass and things that will be coming out in the future and in the next few quarters. But definitely kind of a smaller update. And hopefully we'll see something exciting to keep people interested going into the spring, because winter is such a big gaming time. And then as we go into the spring and summer, sometimes people fall out. So we really need that good content to bring people in around those times and keep people interested in the game. So I'm very excited to play more Sanhok for sure, especially when this comes to console. If you're on PC, I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out. And after we hit 10K officially, we'll be moving on to the next goal. I don't know what it is. I guess 20K. We'll go for double. And if you want to catch some of the action live or see me test out PC or play occasionally on console or on PC, you can follow me at twitch.tv/Blitz5. And friends, I really appreciate you guys. And as always, thank you all for watching. I'm Blitz5, and peace out.